Hey there, Warwick, Johnston from SunWiz with you today, and I'm here with speaking with Peter Leeson from Leeson Group about the recent announcement of Stage 4 restrictions on solar businesses that are operating in Melbourne, and considering what can we do as businesses in Melbourne during this period of lockdown. So I'll say g'day, Peter, and give us a quick little introduction to yourself and your business for those people who don't know you just yet.
Hey, Warwick, thanks for that. Yeah, look, Leeson Group's a pretty diversified business in the solar sector. We do residential solar power installations throughout Victoria and also nationally in construction and existing homes. Commercial businesses as well. We also develop utility scale solar farms. We've done a number throughout Victoria. We do engineering consultancy for PV, electrical and power systems. And we also develop building integrated products across the business. So we're quite broad, but our big focus over the last sort of 12, 18 months has been on the resi and commercial solar and utility scale solar farm development.
And look, from my perspective, Leeson's a very reputable company, reputable enough that I asked them to do a pretty complex installation on my mother's home, which was only completed I think the last day before lockdown came into place, and even involved Peter getting his legs dirty and hands blistered in order to get the job over the line. Mum's very happy. Thanks for that, Peter.
No worries. Yeah, we had the announcement on the Monday that the lockdown was happening, and so we had 2 days to finish off a number of jobs. So everyone got on the tools, including engineers, got out on site, and pending that your mum's system was a ground mount, it had a bit of work to do once we're out of ground. So we had a full team and a half on that project, and engineers out commissioning the end phase system and that sort of stuff as well. So it was a big Tuesday, Wednesday, and everyone took the Thursday off and got some sleep.
Yeah, impressive. So look, a lot of businesses are probably reeling from this announcement and wondering, what can I do? How can I make sure I survive? And then how can I make sure that I make the most of this time of lockdown to come out the other side flying? And this is in the context, of course, of record monthly volumes nationwide, but also in Victoria. The monthly growth was 30% from June to July, and outstanding record. So this is a very, very big abrupt stop. Of course, it only applies to Melbourne businesses, not all of Victorian businesses, but still a very big and sudden impact. Look, you're at the coalface operating a solar retailer. In your position there, I guess the first thing is financial. What do you do to make sure that you can survive?
Yeah, look, it's really important that you understand your business and your risk, and now you've probably got some time as a business owner to assess that. So the first thing I'd be doing, or telling anyone that I know to do, is to have your accounts reconciled and understand your cash position, understand how you're looking on the books and what the next 6 weeks look like. So reconcile your accounts, look at your budget, look at your cash flow. Hopefully all of the businesses have been hit in Victoria in the solar industry have JobKeeper. If you don't, make sure you're talking to your accountant about the availability of that. And then, you might want to look at any business finance that you have, put in factory leases and rents on hold for the 6 week period at least, but even consider going past that, because if we've got a delay for 6 weeks, that delay of payments is probably going to spread out over another 3 to 4 weeks afterwards while STCs are processed and payments come in. And people are paying their accounts. So the first thing that we have done is our business is just look at our overheads and make sure that we're in a good enough cash position to pay wages. And unfortunately, some people in businesses will have to go into lockdown because they can't work, and then other office-based staff might be able to continue working. But a lot of the installs around Melbourne are going to get hit pretty hard, because there is very little for them to do. But if the business can look at other opportunities within their organisation for them to do, that can be pretty handy. So we could probably touch on that a bit later on. So the other option is there's a $10,000 grant for Melbourne-based businesses, and for regional Victoria it's $5,000 off the state government. So yeah, making sure that you're talking to your accountant, understanding what needs to be done, and getting that submitted as soon as possible, because that cash boost will be really handy to a lot of businesses. And there is a lot of options out there right now in support to do that, and I'm sure a lot of accountants are very busy right now.
Yeah, probably a great time for paperwork. There's people will need to get their STCs processed just to have that cash in the bank, and also, of course, any payments from Solar Victoria, making sure that paperwork is clear.
Yeah.
And as you said, deferring any payments that outgoings that they can. But yeah, you mentioned that there's going to be a lull out the other side. It's not just all of a sudden on week 7, assuming that lockdown lifts or at that point, and for our industry in particular, that all of a sudden there's going to be an influx. But of course, now's a good time to be engaged in training as well. I think we were discussing what are the sort of areas that the people who, assuming once you've got your books and your finance and you can see that there's room out the other side, what are you going to do with this time? Training's one option. What are the range of training options that you know about?
Yeah, so look, I think the first easy one is the Cleanse Your Council CPD points. So as an accredited design installs, they'll do their CPD, and that can be pushed across to apprentices as well. So apprentices will generally just learn off the electricians in the business to a point, and then they'll get dropped in the deep end once they're qualified to go and learn all the books, understand all the standards, and then also get their solar accreditation. So there's no reason that they can't be doing that earlier. Health and safety is a big one that we push in the industry a lot. There's a lot of free online training that you can get access to. I've been talking to some industry peers about actually putting out some training on a platform. And if anyone has any ideas around that or RTOs, please get in contact with Warwick or myself, and maybe we can tee something up with some groups like the CC or the Solar Cutters even, and see what we can provide there. So 6 weeks sitting at home for a lot of guys could come out the other end with some really good training and take advantage of that. That's probably a couple of easy options to do. But if you go to the Cleanse Your Council website, there is the CPD training. Maybe we could talk with them about opening that up to apprentices as well, rather than just CC accredited installs. That might be a very quick and easy function to happen. But, we want to make sure we're coming back stronger after this 6-week period in all areas, not just in sales, but also ensuring that our installation teams know more and are safer. Yeah,
look, it's a good point that what can the solar industry itself do to support the Melbourne-based businesses to get through this? And I think you've highlighted a couple of really good options there. Other areas that can be trained in as well as sales training, and I've mentioned before, Dean Mannix has an excellent online sales program for solar salespeople, and so there's an opportunity there to hone your skills, and that can be done in the comfort of your own home. But I guess that sales and marketing staff aren't necessarily off the hook. They can be doing their job remotely, and just because you can't necessarily be delivering the site inspection and the installation process, it doesn't stop you from actually getting new leads and new sales. However, perhaps you have to adjust your process. What are your thoughts about sensible time and effort and resources put into sales and lead gen?
Yeah, look, I think the first thing I'd be doing is cutting back the marketing budget right now. I'm looking to utilise the staff that I have. So, for example, if you can remove some of your marketing budget and put that into employees' hours to go and do some more outbound marketing, that might help the businesses. If you're spending $2,000 a week in SEO or Facebook ads, and you're lucky enough to have JobKeeper, or even if you're not, then maybe you could pay your staff some hours of your installers to make some phone calls to existing clients for referrals. Get the technical knowledge of your electricians to actually touch base with some of your existing clients and see how their system's performing. See if they're getting good generation, they're getting bill savings that they expect. Really give them the red carpet fill in. And then at the end of the phone call, or once you've done an assessment form, asking for a referral. Ask them to hand out your details or whatever your referral system in your business might be. That way your employees are going to have some more money rather than not have any wage at all or only be on JobKeeper. And you might find that you'll close those sales easier, because referrals generally they're quicker and easier sale close than what outbound or even some inbound marketing is. So that's definitely something. The sales team and marketing teams, really focusing on the expectation over the 6 weeks. So it's hard to make a sale when you're saying to someone that you're not going to get installed for 10 weeks, 8 weeks, because if you had two to 3 weeks on your books already before this lockdown, then they're going to be looking at a 9-week install time. But we're bringing in some pretty handy ideas within our business about no deposit, no lock-in sales and that sort of stuff. So, have a think about how you can best provide assurance to your customer that you're not tying them in if they want to walk away later on, but also utilising some skill sets that you already have in your business. You might have some really clever apprentices who might be good at writing copy. So get them writing some copy and put it on your website. It doesn't have to be only about solar. It can be about electrical. It can be about anything that's going to bring in marketing. Bring leads in, bring people to your website. So, and if you have got JobKeeper, that is going to be very handy to a lot of businesses, because you can get your staff to work some hours still and pay them the JobKeeper, and you've just got to top that up with their super and their annual leave, and they get RDOs and that sort of stuff as well. So I think, diversifying all those aspects across your business and your team will also keep the mental health well, keeping them interactive. We do daily catch-ups with our team. Whilst we probably won't be doing daily while the teams are off, we'll still try and do regular catch-ups every day or two, just so everyone can see each other's face and keep the spirits up. But really diversifying your team, I think, across the sales and marketing is going to be a key point.
Look, that brings into something that we do each of our daily stand-up meetings, which is share a win to celebrate. And it doesn't have to be in your business. It can be just in your general life, but it keeps everyone in an uplifted state and a connected state. And especially if you're calling your customers and giving them a service to say, how's everything going, and making sure that they're happy with what's happened, you're going to be generating a lot of wins and outcomes of happy customers. So that's going to just be infectious within your team and also beyond. So I think hitting up your existing customers with a service that you're offering, but also with a request, and that's for referrals and reviews, so that you come out the other side flying, and some good ideas there that you had as well. Look, a lot of companies have always, my experience as a business owner is there's just so many things I know I should get around to and just never have the time to. Of course, now people have got more time. One of those things, people should be doing those things now, but I've got an example of a mate of mine who's got a small business installing solar, and for months now he's been going, I have to get set up on OpenSolar. I know I want to get set up on OpenSolar. I just want to switch to it. It's free and I can do so much. I can see that, but just don't have time to set it up and also to learn to master it. So this is another opportunity to be using this time for those kind of things as well. So again, it might not be the director that's doing that of the business, but some of the employees who either would be twiddling their thumbs otherwise.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry,
just on the sales process, focusing on what your sales process is now and how long it takes to make a sale, and the effort, and setting yourself some goals around that. Moving to OpenSolar, what would the timeline be? How do I do it? How can I get my sales process from 4 hours to 1 hour? Or 4 hours to 2 hours? So really focus on that. So when you do come out, or even now when you try and do sales, you get more out. But also when we do come out and you're busy again, you can keep making those sales later on.
Yeah, and look, you've seen some of the impressive data that comes out of OpenSolar using SunWiz's extension service there. I've seen that some businesses are just excelling at sales by focusing on selling the right products and selling the right segments and selling with the right salespeople. And one of the things that's an opportunity here is that often I see in businesses some salespeople are really effective at generating volume, but not very effective at closing. And then some are very efficient at closing. And so what can each of your salespeople learn from one another that can boost everybody? There's an opportunity for internal training there as well.
Spot on.
Yeah. Now, also, I'm on the industry and consumer reference group for Solar Victoria. Surely, so at the moment, I understand that there's a limit on, how long you've got between when you get an application approved and the installation needs to be complete. Now, being on that reference group, I've seen that there's been cases for extension, and those have included bushfires and product availability due to the initial wave of coronavirus in China. I presume there's going to be extension available as a result of what's currently happening in Melbourne. But I wonder, are there any other asks that you've got, but also interested to hear from our audience, asks that we've got from Solar Victoria that can help support Melbourne-based businesses to get through this period?
Yeah, look, I think obviously it's 3 months now from approval through to installation. I think that should be extended a couple of months just to make sure that people can deal with the backlog. But look, so what SolarVic has implemented in Victoria is a lot safer working environment and a lot of push on quality. So the biggest thing that I could sort of say to SolarVic is work with the CEC or work with industry to get some training out there, some training modules. Also, SolarVic has a requirement that comes in the start of next year on the safety course. I believe that course is not online. However, if we could work with SolarVic to get something launched online in the next couple of weeks, that gives pretty much every solar company a good opportunity to get their team to complete that online training. So, and even if it is only partial modules, if you need to do part of it on site, well, let's see if we can bring that down to all the theory application to online training. If there's, I haven't done the training myself yet, so if there's any on-site training that's required, well, maybe we can split it up. But I think that would be a really opportune time to do it, because if we've pushed the industry back to 6 weeks, which takes us mid-September, late September before we're firing up, we're in spring. The weather's going to be nice, and we know what happens in the solar industry in spring and summer, it booms. So it's only going to be even more busy, and a lot of companies are going to struggle to actually get that training done. So we can work with SolarVic on bringing that forward and making modules online, and even if there is a cost to it, then maybe that cost can be covered for some businesses that are struggling in Melbourne or regional Victoria, then I think that'd be really handy as well.
Yeah, fabulous. Thanks, Peter. Hey, look, just to recap some of those ideas, and I'm sure there's going to be more, we went across and said, okay, understanding your financial positions are of key importance and planning and how you can ride through and come out the other side. We covered off on training and the value of investing in that right now. Getting your sales and marketing teams to focus on lead generation and customer satisfaction, and reinvesting that happy energy into reviews and referrals, getting around to those things you haven't ever gotten around to that can save your business money, including OpenSolar, and then some other jobs and asks we've got of Solar Victoria, for example, and more broadly in the industry. Look, if there's any other ideas that people have got out there, I'd be very interested to hear your comments. If there's other asks that you would like to make of the CEC, Solar Victoria, RTOs, anybody else, then of course, please let me know as well. Hey, Peter, thanks very much for joining us and sharing a bit of the thoughts that you've had to this point. I wish you all the best with getting through out to the other side. We've definitely had solar coasters in the industry in the decade or so that I've known you, but none quite as abrupt as this, right?
Yeah, look, it's been pretty tough. We had the SolarVic slowdown in Q3 last year, and unfortunately for a lot of businesses, the JobKeeper is weighted off for 2.0, which would be assessment for the next 6 months after September, is off Q3 2019. And for Victorian businesses, that is right in the middle of the SolarVic slowdown. So another thing that SolarVic could do, and also industry could do as well, is write to their local member of parliament and actually push that point, because if a lot of the businesses that are going to come out of a lockdown and they still may not be eligible for JobKeeper because they had a terrible Q3 2019 due to the SolarVix slowdown. And if consideration could be made for, let's say, Q1 or Q2, Q1 preferably this year on the same wait-in scenario that they used before as the average of 3 months, then I think that will help a lot of solar businesses, because if they can't get access to the JobKeeper at that point in time, it's going to be a big hit. And there'll be a lot of businesses that can get access to it that don't necessarily work in residential, but it's another kick and another kick and another kick. And it's been a pretty tough 12 months for Victorian solar businesses, starting with that slowdown and then into coronavirus. And then we picked back up again and we got excited. And I know a lot of businesses employed. We've employed heavily this year and really staffed up and resourced amid all this right across our group. It's going to be really important that that skill set and everything that we're building, it's going to be busy at the end of this year, but the companies have the support of federal and state government.
All right, I'll leave it there, Peter. Got my family about to interrupt as well. Thanks so much for joining us, and be in touch. All the best. See you on the other side.
Thanks, Warwick. Cheers, mate.